Hey! Hey! This is getting really boring. Can you, pick up the pace? You don't need to spend so much time doing nothing. Look at Sackboy. Look how upset you've made him by wasting our time like this.
Hello there, all viewers of this video. I'm sure you know what analog horror is, and, well, I hope you do, because honestly I don't feel like explaining it. Basically, if you were a horror creator in the early 2020s and you wanted to tell a story, that's how you did it. It started with the father of all analog horror series, Local 58, and with the popularity of that and with generally how easy these are to make, a bunch of creators came out and decided to take a jab at the genre. And a lot of them have really taken off, like Mandela Catalog, Walton Files, Gemini Home Entertainment, The Boiled One, Monument Mythos, I think that's analog horror, right? A bunch of FNAF ones, like a ton of them, oh my gosh. And my personal favorite, Vita Carnis, the GOAT. Now the thing is, with everybody trying it, there's going to be a few blunders, series that aren't as good. For me personally, I don't really like the Batman analog horror, where Batman's like a demon and he kills people. Look, that has the potential to be great, but if your idea of making Batman scary is to kill people, you've instantly lost me. I'm sorry, it's just... Yeah, I'm that guy. Batman doesn't kill people. There's also the Smile tapes, which I think people like, but I don't know, it seems... I think it's like, it has the most cliches of them all. Also, I don't really like Baddington or Squimpus, not because of the series themselves, but I just don't like the individuals. Those guys did some pretty weird things. Now, this one isn't as bad, but again, why would you do this? But this one is really bad. That's very bad. You should not do that. Now, one of them that I'm really not a fan of, but is really popular, is The Man in the Suit.
The Man in the Sneaking Suit.
Man in the Suit is a Godzilla Analogue Horror series made by a creator known as Unknowingly. The premise is that while Toho are making Godzilla movies, the actor who plays Godzilla in the rubber suit turns into a monster. It starts with him fusing with the suit where it becomes a skin. Then he acts more aggressively, then attacks crew members, and then kills and violently assaults fellow monster actors. So it's basically the story of the world's most insane method actor. Now on paper, that's a really good premise. Stuff like that has been done before, like the movie Shadow of the Vampire, which is a fictionalized version of the production of the Nosferatu film from 1920, where in this, instead of the director getting an actor to play Count Orlok, he gets a real vampire for the part, like he's actually like a vampire. Shadow of the Vampire really works because despite, being fiction, we don't really know much about the production of Nosferatu apart from the legal issues involved with making it. So you kind of think like, you never know, that may have happened. And same goes with the early Godzilla movies. We really don't know much about them. What we do know is that for the actor playing Godzilla, it was quite the endurance.
Hello, my name is the Crimson Cranium. I'm telling you that because the video is in black and white, so you wouldn't be able to know. The following is a quote from Haru Nakajima, the man who played Godzilla in the early films, from his feature on the channel Great Big Story. We would play the clip, however, we do not want to risk a copyright strike. So, I will read it to you instead. Since materials were so rare, post-World War II, things like rubber were not available. Instead, they used ready-mixed concrete. So it weighed about 100 kilograms. It was so heavy and hot, and with the lighting, it was even hot just to touch it. I was sweating all over my face, but I did the best I could. Yep, I'm just that good.
Yeah, so this series has the potential to be great, but unfortunately, I find it to be a bit of a letdown. And in this video, I'd like to share my problems with the series and just think of it as a critique. Now, right away, I'd like to say, if you like Man in the Suit, that's tolerable. Because after all, we live in a very tolerant society. Kinda. Think about it. Like, back in the day, when say you and I had a disagreement, I'd accuse you of being a witch and burn you on the stake. Nowadays, I just leak your address. Okay, but in all seriousness, I am not making this video to convince anybody that this series sucks and it's the worst thing ever. No, that's not what this video is for. I just think that this series has a lot of flaws that stop it from being great, and I feel like it gets a little bit too much credit than it really should, because ultimately it's just kind of meh. And I feel like a lot of people don't really acknowledge its issues, so I'd like to highlight the ones that I had a problem with. Secondly, before we start, I just want to say, anyone that I mention in this video, don't bother them, don't like pester them, don't harass them, just leave them be, because that'd be a stupid thing to do. Like, these people, they've done nothing wrong, minus these two, but it's best to just say nothing at all. It's best to just do nothing, just observe, whatever. And with that out of the way, let's begin. You ready, Raul? Negative Nelly, that one. We're gonna start by looking at the first entry in the series. I was planning on doing the whole series one by one, but that's honestly kind of boring, kind of been done before, and I don't want this video to be too long. So we're just gonna look at the first entry, and then we'll delve deeper into the issues that I have with it.
Okay, so the first entry starts with well, hold on, just give it a second. It takes a little while to build up, but we'll get there. Any second now. Hurry up, man, I haven't got all day.
This intro lasts about 50 seconds, just about. I just don't understand why it just couldn't have started with here, or you could have just made this a lot shorter. I don't really see the point in this. I guess it's supposed to be like a slow burn intro, but it just goes on for too long, and that's kind of a theme throughout this whole series.
Alright, moving on. The first episode sets up the odd circumstances of the first film. Odd being an understatement. It all has to do with the actor playing Godzilla, or Gojira as he's called in Japan. Oh wait. Gorgia?
Oh no. Oh no.
Wow, okay, now off to the best start. So, during the whole production, the actor would start displaying weird behaviors, like he'd wear the suit all the time, he would randomly freeze in place while shooting scenes, and his breathing would become very uneven. After 2 odd minutes of oddly breathing, you didn't have to use odd twice, they decide to check up on him and find out he is fusing with the suit. And we get this amazing visual. It looks like he ate a little man. And then a jump scare that sounds like a car failing to start up. And oh yeah, Analogue Horror jump scare. Haven't seen that one before.
Real quick, I just want to say, I'm not going to judge this series on whether or not it's scary. I don't think it's scary, but that's really not an issue with me. Plenty of the ones that I really love don't scare me. Most of the time. I love horror, but not because it scares me. I just really love the worlds they create, the monsters, the characters. Like, I don't think games like Resident Evil or Silent Hill scare me.
What the fuck? Nah, that's not fair. What the hell?
But I love those games. They're really good. Yeah. Man in the Suit not being scary is the least of its problems. Let's actually get into them.
Number 1, the manner the story is told. Man in the Suit isn't very visually interesting. Pretty much all the videos just consist of a black screen that will throw up some text and some images and then some stock footage. Now, there are original images and videos, say like animations and drawings, but for the most part, this is all you get visually. But to be honest, this is not that big of a deal because it's obvious that this series barely has a budget. This is made with CapCut and a dream. So this slideshow projector style is all you're gonna get. Speaking of which, this series never really clarifies when these entries were compiled because they don't look like they're from the 50s or 60s. So I'm assuming that they were made in like the 80s at least. Although I have a slight nitpick. A lot of these slides are on screen for a bit too long. This one on screen lasts for 19 seconds, which doesn't seem that long, but you'd be done reading all this in less than 10 seconds. I get that some people are slow readers, but there's a pause button for that. The first time I watched this series, it was so slow, I had to watch on 2x speed, which I would not recommend anybody do for any video. This one here, it's on screen for 30 seconds, all for just one sentence. And this last one here is on screen for 17 seconds, which try and read this yourself. See how time yourself now and see how fast you can read it. I guarantee you it's going to be less than 17 seconds, less than 10 seconds. Number 2, the timeline.
Hello, this is my floor. This is my whiteboard. We're underneath my desk right now. This is the timeline of Man in the Suit, starting from 1954 to the last entry, 1964. So it starts with the Godzilla King of Monsters, the original Man in the Suit incident. Then like a year or like a few months after they film this, they go on to Godzilla Rage Again or Gigantus, and where we have the Anguirus Suit incident. Then like a year later after that, the Anguirus update. Then 2 years later is Suit Trial. 4 years later, all of these incidents transpire. King Kong vs. Godzilla, mailed message, dorsal extraction, and the depiction of growth. 2 years later, we have the rare newspaper, the Masura incident, 7 updates, and the Ghidorah incident. Now, my issue is this whole gap here. You don't really know what the Man in the Suit is up to in between like the 7 years. Suit Trial kind of implies that he's being kept at Toho Studios because, he's out of control. But we don't really know what they do with him or what he's up to. I don't know, he could be like the janitor there or something. What we do know is that in between here and here, Toho was experimenting with other monsters. So they had Rodan, Varan, the Unbelievable, the Mysterians, and Mothra. The thing is, we don't know if these films exist in the Man of the Suit world. Unknowingly has stated that Man in the Suit is a different world from ours, right? It's an alternate universe, so to say. Either they don't exist in the world, or it was an oversight since they are relatively obscure. So here's how I would fix the timeline. I don't think Goji should have fused with the suit immediately. I like the gradual symptoms, like he would wear it all the time and he would kind of just stop in place and do nothing. The following year, he starts acting more aggressive. He stops talking to people, and then he bites Anguirus. So 7 years go by, and they're like, okay, maybe we should scrap these Godzilla movies because of this incident. And so they focus on these other movies, Rodan, the Mysterians, Varan, Mothra, but they fail. So they're like, okay, we're on the verge of bankruptcy. Why don't we try and bring Godzilla back? And as a safety net, we'll bring in King Kong. That's when he starts to fuse with the suit, and all of this transpires. This 7-year gap is kind of a problem for me. Not really much happens apart from Suit Trial. And there's also this, but that has nothing to do with Man in the Suit.
Number 3, typos and word structure. Yeah, so in the first episode, Gojira is misspelled as Gorgia, and that's bad, right? But unfortunately, it's not the only typo. There are multiple throughout this series. Not a lot, but in my opinion, there shouldn't be any whatsoever. Here's some examples that I found. She then told me to go to Am Artist and gave me a description that I sadly forgot. I've tried to get off of the situation and just leave Japan. He twitched as a sudden sound, as if he was vibrating. Fourthly, someone at the scene of the puddle said that they could have seen an eyeball in the foaming puddle. They weren't too sure to believe their claims, thinking it could have been a hoax. They weren't successful for finding the eye in the puddle. I've made typos in my own videos, and trust me, they keep me up at night. No way. Actually, I think it's the monster.
Go ahead and take a swig. A nice big swig. We all like to swig down here. Just lift me up to the sky and chug me down.
What in the annoying orange? Oh man, that was weird. You know what's even more prevalent though? A lot of the sentences are structured in such a weird way. It's not as bad as the typos, but they are it's so distracting. Like, here's an example. When they're trying to figure out what's wrong with the man in the suit, right? The doctors there are like, we're not really sure, but maybe he took a pill. Wait, what do you mean pill? What does that mean? What kind of pill? Are you saying he's on drugs? The drugs made him fuse with the suit? How about the fact that he's wearing a suit made of like mixed concrete? Okay, maybe that's kind of a bad example, but it was so weird when I watched it, like a pill. I'm going to show you a few more examples, and I'm actually going to reword them myself to try to make them sound more professional. So, yes, I'm going to have to go English teacher on this. Wait, no, not English teacher, look, not like that.
I was put into the job of being the cameraman. They told me what happened before and told me to stay quiet about it or I would be arrested. Personally, I would reword this as, I was assigned as a cameraman for the film. They informed me of what had occurred before and advised me to stay quiet for my own good. Something like that. It made me more curious than ever. It might harm me of doing this. Now, I think this would sound better as, it made me more curious than ever. I might put myself in harm's way by delving too deep into it. I was confused at first. This was all? Then he started to explain. This one's rather minor, but it improves when you change it to, I was confused by this. Was this all he could get? Then he started to explain. They have tried their best wanting to comply with Angrius, like if they were training a dog to do tricks. They tried their best to get Angrius to comply as if they were training a dog to do tricks. I don't even know what that first one is trying to convey. It had gotten so bad that they needed people in hazmat suits so they could come closer to the puddle. It should be so they could get closer to the puddle.
When I first watched this series, my immediate assumption was, okay, maybe English is not the creator's first language because it's kind of written unprofessionally, like a child would write. It's very simple, and like someone with not the best grasp of English would type. But no, English is indeed Unknowingly's first language. And then I realized, oh yeah, he's a teenager. He's still in school. So like, oh yeah, no wonder. American education system sucks.
Most of the series is spoken in past tense, like these are made after each incident transpires. But sometimes the text will suddenly go into present and future tense. This happens a lot in the Mothra suit incident video where this sentence was written in future tense despite this tape seemingly being made after the whole incident had already occurred. If you replace isn't with wasn't, then it'd make more sense. Instead of the saying won't stop the man, it should be it didn't stop the man. This should be changed to while her head was getting bitten, her parents saw everything. And then it switches back to past tense. Number 4, the main character. So the story is told by this guy here. He's never given a name, so let's call him Johnzilla. Now, one thing you should know about Johnzilla is that he's kind of an idiot. He says he blurred his face for his own safety, even though I can get a pretty good idea of what he looks like just from this. Like, bro, you're a white guy, or presumably white guy, in Japan. You don't exactly blend in, you stick out like a sore thumb. Here's an example of how goofy John is. So, in King Kong vs. Godzilla, the man in the suit kills Kong's actor. You know, usual day on the job. Nothing too out of the ordinary. While John is leaving, the power goes out. So he's wandering through the halls in the pitch black with only his camera flash to guide him. He hears something behind him and snaps this picture. Now, to be honest, this is pretty terrifying. This is a well done image. You can tell that the man in the suit is way taller than John. Like, his head is pressing against the ceiling. However, this moment is kind of ruined for me because in the following video, John says this about it. You were startled? You were just startled at this. You were in the pitch black, and for a brief second, you saw that behind you. And you were just startled. I don't know about you, John, but I'd be petrified upon seeing this. Also, due to the, I don't really want to say it, but poor writing, John sometimes gives off the impression of like a weird man-child, like just from the way he speaks. I already showed you the Godzilla encounter, but in Depiction of Growth, he goes to one of his friends who's like a biologist or an expert in whatever field in science, and he describes her as being someone who was smart with this stuff. I don't know, it just doesn't sound like something an adult would say. They'd say something like, I went to a friend of mine who is an expert in things like this. I want to go back to this line here because of what John says in response. She says like, go to an artist to get like a description of the guy, but he sadly forgot. Keep in mind, she said this earlier.
You need to try and put him down. If not, it is probably too late for mankind.
What a shame. I forgot. Oh, silly me. It's only the fate of mankind at stake. Slight nitpick, but this part really isn't necessary unless she gets back to John in another video. But no, we learn right away in this same video. At one point in the series, John gets an informant in Toho to feed him details about what's going on with the man in the suit and the studio itself because he assumed he got fired. But he words it as, I had befriended someone to be a spy. Again, I might be nitpicking with this one, but I just thought it was funny. I had befriended someone to be a spy. And this line that I love so much. I am very agitated about this whole situation. They're doing stupid little mistakes that ruin people's lives. Yeah, man, I know what you mean. Like, knowingly putting other kaiju actors in danger and being indirectly responsible for getting an actress's parents mauled to death. Little mistakes like that really agitate me too.
Ugh! I'm so infuriated right now. This is a complete turn-up.
Number 5. Random moments that are really funny unintentionally. So Goji attacked Angrius because, he had become a beast at that point. He lost all control and he thought that Angrius was a real monster. Now, when filming King Kong vs. Godzilla, he didn't like working with Americans and considered the actor who played King Kong, who was Japanese, a traitor to the country. So it implies that he killed King Kong's actor because he was racist towards Americans, which is really funny when you think of it like that, because remember, he attacked Angrius unprovoked. Well, kind of unprovoked. They were having like a fight for the film, but, he was not supposed to do that anyway. But in this, he just attacked Kong because he didn't like America. It was like a political statement or something, which is too funny to complain, man. Like, this is stupid, but it's funny stupid, right? I like it.
You are a true patriot.
So back to the smart lady, Elisa. She has a text-to-speech voice, which I really don't like. It's my least favorite trope in analog horror, but in complete fairness, Unknowingly is not the first person to do this. All of my favorite creators have used text-to-speech voices, but fortunately, they and Unknowingly have hired voice actors for their future projects. Anyway, while she's explaining how the man is fusing with the suit, she says this.
How do I explain this? Imagine a cream-filled donut.
Okay, the analogy makes sense, but it's like, how do I explain this to an American? Okay, so we have to describe how this man is going through a horrifying transformation, where his flesh and bones are dissolving and expanding in order to fit this new skin. The suit's eyes are becoming his, and the teeth, etc. How do you think we do that?
Alright. So, imagine a creepy donut.
Bonus chapter, the Makeship plush incident.
This isn't really related to Man in the Suit, so think of this as a side tangent, but I wanted to talk about this because I hate it. Makeship is a company that specializes in selling limited time merchandise such as clothes, pins, figures, and mainly plushies. However, the thing with them is that they specialize in mostly selling merchandise of independent creators, that being either YouTubers, streamers, artists, or animators. And yeah, this has proven very successful for them because, nothing sells faster than limited merch. Now, despite their choice in collab partners, I really like Makeship because, well, they made merch of Soma, like my favorite horror game ever. Look, they made this hoodie I'm wearing. See, look, they made this. They made these tracksuit bottoms. They made this shirt. They made this hat. Look at it. Look at the logo. It's got Pathos 2 in the back. It's amazing, isn't it, Cranium?
It actually says Site Fi on the back. You literally didn't check before recording, did you?
And most importantly, they made this. Little Simon, the guy you play as in the game. He's gorgeous, he's beautiful, I love him. He's such a little guy. There's no merch of Soma anywhere, and Makeship supplied. They did this. They have my eternal gratitude. They made this beautiful little boy, or man, or like walking robot corpse.
Oh, fuck this! Fuck! Fuck this! Fuck you! Fuck you!
And analog horror creators are no stranger to Makeship. A lot of the really popular ones that you probably know of have collabed with the company more than twice. These analog horror creators they've done it a lot. And yeah, I get it. Like, these analog horrors aren't cheap to make, especially when you go big, right? And as I've said before, nothing sells faster than limited merch. But I don't know, man, just launch a Patreon or something, I don't know. I'm just gonna name a lot of plushies these creators have. Dr. Nowhere of the Boiled One has 5 of them. Darian Quilloy of Vita Carnus has like 7. As I'm making this video, he's teasing an 8th one. Jesus, like, I love that show, but I wouldn't buy this. Martin Walls has 9 of them. No Billy for some reason. What the hell? Martin, where's Billy? I love that little guy. Think of how much money you'd make if you sold the Billy plushie.
$7? Are you fucking serious? This isn't enough for anything.
And Alex Kister of Mandela Catalog has 11. Why? Oh yeah, I really want the plushie of the white man. Now, Unknowingly has also collabed with Makeship to make a plushie. And, well, you think with, like, oh, Godzilla Analogue plushie, that'd be cool, right? Like, just look at the visuals, right? This could be a really cool looking plushie. I can't wait. No. We got this. You know, every time I think about this plushie, I think, okay, it's not as bad as I remember. Then I look at it again and I'm like, Jesus Christ, like, why does he look like that? Why is his eyes so big and bulgy? Why is he that color? Why is he so cutesified? Why does he look nothing like the man in the suit? Now, the obvious answer is to avoid copyright infringement. You know, you don't want to make an outright Godzilla plushie when you don't have a license, but I don't see why he had to look like this. He looks absolutely nothing like Godzilla. Like, I feel like you could have gotten away with making him a little, like, I don't know, darker or make him more horrific looking. A lot of the analog horror plushies have the same kind of, like, gimmick of they look slightly uncanny, which I think is great. They should be, right? They're scary characters, so if you try to cutesify it, it's gonna look weird. This is not it. That's weird. That's just bad looking. I'm just really disappointed it doesn't look like the original images. Or hell, I take a plushie that looks like this. So I decided to try and make a mock-up of what I would do for a Man in a Suit plushie. Now, be warned, I have like -1 art skills. I can't draw at all. So it looks like complete shit, but I tried nonetheless. So here it is. It's based off these drawings here in the series. Like, I know it's not good. I can't draw once again, but I don't know. This invokes like the Man in the Suit a lot more, doesn't it? Right? I'm not crazy. Like, I'm baffled that they chose this design over, like, I don't know, something like, make him look darker. Remove those big eyes. Like, imagine you had no knowledge of this series. Would you really guess that this is from a Godzilla horror analog series? I don't think you would.
I don't mean this to be an attack or insult on anybody who bought the plushie, because it's your money. You can do whatever you like. And at the end of the day, it supports Unknowingly, and he can make good money off of this. The whole point of this is just, I really don't like the design, and it doesn't represent the series very well.
Now, I can't really blame Unknowingly for this, because obviously he didn't design the plushie. It was the graphic designers at Makeship. However, he said yes to this, right? He looked at this and just went, yeah, this is okay. He didn't offer any kind of, like, alternative. Can we do this instead of that? Like, he must have had the ultimate say on what the plushie would look like, right? And this is the final result, so I imagine he didn't really object to it. He was just happy to have one made. The only positive thing I can say about this plushie is that it's definitely not the worst one on Makeship. There are much, much worse ones. Like, really bad ones. Like, Jesus Christ.
I watched Bobby plushie die. I was there, and I watched it die. I watched the timer hit 0 and not reach its goal. I could have saved it, but I didn't.
Oh, look, I just noticed the description of the plushie is written entirely in Japanese. How cute is that? Fun fact, I can actually read Japanese kanji. I learned it many years ago, so I'm gonna have a go at translating this. I mean, now, it has been a while. I'm a little rusty, admittedly, but it doesn't look that hard anyway, so let's just have a go with it. You ready?
Friends is a gritty documentary set in the city of Hong Kong, starring Chan Li, a Chinese businessman, Ross, who has a PhD in modern anime, Joey, an established actor, Rachel, a L'Oreal Shanghai executive.
Number 6. The Ghidorah Incident.
This is the final entry in the series, and personally my least favorite. So let's just take a look at it.
So the Ghidorah suit is kind of like a suit puppet combo. The lower body is made of a more durable material, and the head and neck are more flexible for effective puppeteering. The Mothra larvae actors have been switched to puppets for obvious reasons. He used the word toughened to describe the lower body. I would have used another word like durable or enforced. Now, despite Toho's efforts, our boy, Johnzilla, he just knows that one way or the other, Goji is going to cause another incident. So he decides to take measures into his own hands. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, his plan is to go to the Toho studio with a shotgun and kill Goji. Right, that's cool. One problem though, how the hell did you get a firearm in Japan? Do you know how difficult that is? Japanese gun laws are no joke. You can't even own one privately. I know it's risky to go into a workplace with a shotgun. Bro, it's risky just having one in your possession. And you might say, well, Denied 9, it's an alternate universe. The laws might be different. I don't think so. They're never elaborated on. So far, apart from, the fusing man thing, nothing is different from our world. What I hate most about this is that this is pretty much just glossed over. He has a gun, and you have to accept it. It would have been really cool if there was, a plot, or if he went into detail about how he got the gun, like he had to negotiate with, Yakuza or underground criminal network in order to get this weapon, and, in exchange for, secrets at the studio, or dirt on them. But no. It's just this. He just has it. He just managed to get it. With no explanation. Anyway, filming seems to be going well until the final scene where Goji starts shaking violently and having an episode. Ghidorah's actor gets too close and then Goji attacks him. I think whoever made this image forgot to add detail to Godzilla's head because it's all smooth. What the hell? One weird thing I have to point out is that Rodan is not even mentioned throughout this video. And you might be thinking, well, maybe he doesn't exist in this version of events. Well, no, because he's right there. He's in that image. There wasn't even any kind of incident involving him, so the only conclusion that I can think of is that Man in the Suit / Goji was just chill with Rodan's actor. They just got along. And of all the actors, he got along with Rodan. Yeah, man, I was in those Pearl Harbor attacks. I bombed the shit out of those Americans. And dog, I gotta get you on Astro Boy. It's the shit. Also, remember how I said that John would sometimes speak in present tense despite all the actions already, happening? Well, John has this exchange, and in the middle of that exchange, he goes from past to present, and then back to past. In one exchange. John walks into the room as Goji's attacking Ghidorah with his shotgun close by, and, I was gonna go into full YMS mode with how Goji faces the wall when turning around, but then I realized, oh yeah, his tail would have made that difficult turning the other way. Goji faces the power box, conveniently right behind him, and he either pukes on it or punches it. I don't know. It causes a blackout. And then this. What is this, man? What's going on with the studio layout? Why the floor is all broken. The walls are filthy, presumably because Goji killed the janitor. The Toho studio is built like a maze for some reason, and the footage isn't color. And the camera quality is much higher than what was possible in 1962. This completely took me out when I first watched this. Why does it all look like that? John shoots Goji's head off clean, but unfortunately, Goji got a little too into the role because he starts regenerating, which is pretty chilling and the animation is well done, but, well, here's the thing. If I was John in this situation and I saw that one shotgun blast could blow this thing's head off, and then I saw it regenerating, I'd start blasting.
I got him!
And that concludes The Man in the Suit. Overall, for me, it falls a little short. Again, I love the premise, but there's so many things that hold it back from being great. From the way the story is told, the bad grammar, our main character, unintentionally funny stuff that unfortunately hurts its tone. And despite my grievances, despite my issues with it, that's still all okay. Like, I don't think it's good, but yeah, so what? So what if it's not good? I mean, at the end of the day, if it was just a bad analog horror series, that'd be fine in itself. But I feel like a lot of people don't acknowledge these issues that I have with it. They don't point the flaws. They hold it to such a high regard. And yeah, I commend the actual work being put into it, but it's definitely no masterpiece. That's for sure. I can forgive a lot of the series' shortcomings, like the basic narrative. Like, yeah, it's made on CapCut and like no money. And the linguistics. Unknowingly is young. I'm not expecting to be like a linguistics master. He's not Alan Wake. I just think people hold it to a really high pedestal, and I feel like I'm the only one who like notices this, and like I feel like there's something wrong with me. Like I'm in the wrong, or I'm going crazy, and I'm like seeing things that other people can't, and it's driving me crazy. And I feel like I need to go to the doctor because my brain is collapsing onto itself. I have electricity running through my head.
Come on, Deny9, don't be like that. There must be something you like about this series.
I guess you're right, Cranium. I should make this video all negative. So, yeah, I'll talk about some things I actually like about this series. All of the original drawings and animations, they're really well done. They look good. I really like them. I can't really say any more, but well done to all the people who made them. They're great. Even this looks good. It looks real. The only issue with it really is it's in the wrong place. You know, wrong series, but no, it looks really good. Goji's backstory. I really like how Unknowingly incorporated the Hiroshima and Nagasaki bombings into the man in the suit, because I think he should. I mean, the whole reason Godzilla exists is because of these tragedies. In the series, it states blatantly that Man in the Suit's family was caught in the explosion while he was away on a trip, and that like fuels his hatred for the West, which explains why he attacked the King Kong actor. Also, the sound design's pretty good. And I watched Shin Godzilla in preparation for this video, and it's really good.
I think it's time we address the kaiju in the room.
Oh yeah, I should probably address that. Last year, Unknowingly canceled The Man in the Suit. Now, upon hearing this news, I'd normally be like, you know, dancing, frolicking, having a party for myself, like Squidward in that one SpongeBob episode. But given the circumstances as to why it was canceled, I can't. Unknowingly canceled The Man in the Suit due to ongoing harassment and toxicity that he faced from the Godzilla fan base. Not sure why, but I guess they just didn't like it. Now, it goes without saying, this harassment is unacceptable. There's no excuse for it. It's completely unwarranted, especially when you need to remember, Unknowingly is a teenager. He's a kid. He's a minor. How petty do you have to be to harass a minor? Sure, I didn't like this series, but that's no excuse to attack them, to be toxic. That's just terrible. People thought implementing the Hiroshima and Nagasaki bombings was like in bad taste. No, I disagree. Is that really your biggest gripe? That. I just explained my biggest gripes. Is that really yours? That's your biggest, really? Firewood Media has a really good video on the topic, and I'd recommend his review of The Man in the Suit. Also this video. This video is amazing. I love this video. Watch Atlanta. Here's a screenshot from that video of this guy who highlighted some issues people had with the series itself. Yeah, these all suck. In this video, he also covered some allegations that Unknowingly had. Spoiler, it's a load of shit.
Unknowingly, the creator of the analog horror series, The Man in the Suit is nothing more than a gooner, a manipulator, and an overall damn weirdo. By the way, 15-year-old. A 15-year-old that's a gooner? Jesus, yeah, this person has never been 15. Wait, evidence has yet to materialize for some of these claims, but rest assured they're all factual. No! I'm not gonna just say, yeah, they had it in this document and it looks official, so I'm just gonna believe it. What? That'd be like if I made a video where I'm like, hey guys, Godzilla is actually from China.
Now, I'll be honest. I am slightly devastated that this happened. I'm confident that this series was going to get better over time as we covered the other Godzilla movies. Let me tell you, we were so close to the Jet Jaguar incident. It was It was right in our grasp. It was just on the verge of becoming real. But no, we can't have nice things, I guess. People have to be assholes. So now we're never gonna get it. Fuck. Well, that's Man in the Suit covered. I also want to talk about Unknowingly's other projects since that series, because I'm never gonna have an excuse to talk about them again. And they show a huge improvement since that series concluded. Following Man in the Suit's break, it wasn't cancelled yet, Unknowingly announced a new analog horror series called Mechanical Instinct. It's a murder drones analog horror. That is really weird to me, but I don't know why, because and Murder Drones already has horror themes to it, so I guess if FNAF can do it, then I guess you can with Murder Drones. Tessa looks like the boy from Limbo. And from what we got, I didn't like it. But the funny thing is, I didn't like it for the opposite reasons why I didn't like Man in the Suit. I liked Man in the Suit's premise, but I didn't like how it was told. I don't like Mechanical Instinct's premise, but I like how it's told. The premise is, what if we took N, this lovely, cute, wonderful little fella. Oh wait, sorry, wrong image. Yeah, there we go. And made him evil, scary, and covered in blood. Wait, hold on a minute, that's kinda like Xenoblade 3. It just kinda reeks of 2012 creepypasta storytelling. Like, what if Sonic was evil, mean, and scary? It's a creepypasta in visual form. But I did like how the story was told. It was a massive step for Man in the Suit. I say was because the series is gone. The entries have been, I think they're privated. I'll get into why that might be the case. The only footage that's publicly available online is this video here made by Sean Matto. He animated a large segment of the first entry. So I'm gonna link his channel in the description because this animation is really cool and he did a great job. So anyway, let's take a look.
Out of all the places I was assigned to look for this guy, of course I have to search for this worn down pile of rubble. I don't know why Khan wants us to document our search using these prehistoric pieces of junk, but whatever. How did he even know about this place, let alone expect me to know where it was with this damn storm? Nothing gold can stay.
Is anybody there? I'm scared.
Hey, it's alright. I won't hurt you. Oh, what is it?
So yeah, it looks pretty good. It's a lot better than the slideshows, that's for sure. I kind of have issues with the storytelling, like the dude's talking to himself, and like the excuse for recording is kind of weak. Like, oh, it's for documentation purposes. It would have been better if there was like two guys and it was like CCTV footage, so there'd be a good reason for basically the exposition dump. And it should be mentioned that the voice acting is pretty bad.
Is anybody there? I'm scared.
Hey, it's alright. I won't hurt you. I just want to take you back to the bunker. N. That's your name, right?
Is anybody there?
This guy's kind of starting to freak me out.
Oh gee, thanks Rosemary, you have a beautiful home, I am so excited.
That being said, I'll take bad voice acting any day over like AI voices or text-to-speech.
Cream-filled donut.
Now, why did this series just suddenly disappear? Well, I may have an explanation. Remember our friends at Makeship? Well, Unknowingly would team up with them again to release this. Okay, so this one isn't as bad as the Man in the Suit plushie, but just take a look at it. Take a good long look. Does it look a little familiar? Yeah, it looks like this. Glitch's official N plushie. I see this on the store and I'm thinking like, there's no way you can like actually get away with this, right? Well, one day I was browsing the website, one day thinking like, maybe I can find something, some good merch. Maybe they'll team up with Frictional again. And then I noticed the plushie had disappeared. It wasn't listed on the live campaign section. That's odd. It still had like a good few days to go, and it was in the green too. It was funded. So I tried searching up on the website. There was nothing. I Google like links to it. I find links. They were dead. So then I'm thinking like, all right, I need a more direct link. Oh look, someone provided it.
We have reached levels of we are so back like you've never seen them before. Buy the plush.
Oh, awesome. He provided a link. Oh. It's 404. It was removed. Also, this guy drew a much better design for the plushie than Makeship did. Like, why the hell his teeth look like that?
So I'm looking online for any information I can find, like Makeship decayed plushie. And luckily, the boys at Reddit did provide. And yeah, my suspicions were correct. Glitch filed a cease and desist. They saw this and they went, no, you can't do that. And Makeship had to take it off the website. So we can assume because of this little mishap, Unknowingly was just not motivated to continue the series. I am glad that this happened to Makeship. Yes, it was a kind of a stupid decision on Unknowingly's part, but more on like Makeship. They've been like dodging copyright for so long, right? With these plushies. Like, look at this. That's just Funtime Foxy from FNAF. That's Slender Man, right? I don't care how much static you need to hide. You cover it with. That's Slender Man. Apparently Slender Man is copyrighted. That's new to me. Wow. But unfortunately, Makeship never even learned their lesson because they listed these plushies on their site and they got funded and the campaign has ended. These were made.
Sorry, not you, Unknowingly. Why not? But you letting kittens sneeze? It says no glitch plushies. We're allowed to have digital circus.
Also, they look really ugly. Like, I'm sorry, these look disgusting. These look terrible. Like, they actually look worse than the Man in a Suit plushie. At least with that plushie, right? I can look at it and say, looks like Godzilla if he was drawn by Cass Vandepal. Well, after all that, Unknowingly was not done with the Godzilla Analogue scary stuff because he announced, in partnership with some game creator I don't know the name of, a Godzilla Man in the Suit video game called Suitborn. I was like, wow, that's interesting. I look at it, and it's a Roblox game. I've never played Roblox in my life, and I have no intention to. I mean, I was still intrigued, so I looked it up, and kind of like Five Nights at Freddy's, mixed with just a standard horror, FPS horror game. It's cool, I guess.
Okay, I take it all back. This game has Jet Jaguar as an enemy. He looks amazing. And look what happens when he grabs you. just decks you in the fucking face. My goat, bro. I tell you, this guy is my fucking goat. I love Jet Jaguar. This is a certified 10 out of 10 game.
And in a twist that I didn't really see coming, Unknowingly would announce that Man in a Suit would return in the form of a short film. Man in a Suit Reborn. So, kind of like a reboot. That was a few months ago, and we haven't really heard much since, so it might be on hold for now. But I'm looking forward to it. And while I was working on this video, Unknowingly announced a new project, a new analog short film called Stupid Cupid, which is based on a Valentine's Day serial killer. Now, when I saw this, I was like, finally, an original idea. I mean, yeah, it is very much based on like films like My Bloody Valentine, but it's original. It's not just blank, recognizable character analog horror. Although this one would actually be kind of cool. So I watched it, and it was pretty good. I liked it. It was relatively simple, but yeah, no, I really didn't see any issue with it. It's definitely my favorite thing that he's done. You know, I like the premise, I like the production, everything is good. And yeah, that really concludes the video. While I don't like Man in a Suit, as I've said like too many times, I feel like it was necessary. As a filmmaker, you gotta start from somewhere. You know, like when you start out, it's not gonna be great. You're gonna look back at it and cringe a bit. Like, I know I certainly start from somewhere. And now I'm here. I don't really know what that says about me, but for Unknowingly his style as a filmmaker is drastically improved, and it's great to see. And like with this kind of material, I have no doubt that the Man in the Suit reboot is going to be great. And if a makeshift plushie does get made of this guy, which it might happen, I won't object to it because it's original. This is, by definition, this is an original character. I didn't really have an idea on how I would end this video, so here's the Jet Jaguar incident.
Whoa, Godzilla, that was too horrific. Jet Jaga, yatta de Jaga. Yuke yuke wa o mamoru tame, minna mo odoroku yuki o miseru. Godzilla to Jaga de punch, punch, punch! Punch, punch, punch!
Fun fact, this little guy here, this little figure, he's the same kind of figure that's seen in this funny ass video.
I have a little Godzilla that I keep in my car, just for fun, and he's all squishy and rubbery because of the fucking heat, and I think that's funny, and his like just, oh shit. No!